Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Tiger Talk. Yeah, it's that time of the year as Fort Hays State gears up for their season opener Thursday night, Joplin, Missouri. The Tigers take on the Missouri Southern State Lions. Should be a fun football season. We're going to talk all about it with head coach Chris Brown here in just a little bit. The program brought to you once again by the fine folks at Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers, North Vine and Hays. It's the taste that brings you back. And by Mocha's Coffee Bakery and Bistro at 27th and Indian Trail in Hays. We're going to talk about the 2017 Tigers. They've been working hard getting set for the new season, and we'll take a little preview of Missouri Southern, the Tigers' opening week opponent on Thursday night. We'll do that right after this break.
Have you been living with pain for so long it's become part of your life? At Riverside Chiropractic, they are trained and licensed to treat pain without surgery or drugs. So if you want to leave pain behind, visit Riverside Chiropractic today. It's a natural way to stay healthy.
Hi, I'm Dr. Euling, and here at Riverside Chiropractic, our goal is to get you out of pain as quickly as possible and teach you how to stay out of pain.
Riverside Chiropractic Clinic, 1220 East 27th and Hays. Find our ad in the Next Tech directory.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome into Tiger Talk, our first program here of the 2017 season. Gerard Wellbrock with you, joined by head football coach Chris Brown. The Tigers coming off an 8-win season, in fact, back-to-back 8-win seasons. A win in the Champs Heart of Texas Bowl in December, now gearing up for 2017, and it's almost upon us. Thursday night in Joplin, the Tigers open up against Missouri Southern. Coach, glad to have you back again, and it's almost here, Thursday night.
It is. We just went through camp and, summer as well, and everything's gone really, really fast. I mean, it just seems like you don't have enough time to prepare and get ready, but you know what? Our kids have done a good job through the summer and through fall camp to get themselves ready for this first game.
A lot of things we heard, and have really heard the last couple of years from you, is, kids staying in town in the summer, getting the off-season work in, the voluntary stuff, and the best group as far as numbers sticking around this past summer. Have you seen dividends? Do you feel that maybe camp was a little bit better because of that?
Yeah, I think so. Just our kids sticking around. I mean, we've been, last year's probably around 55, 60. This year we had around 70, 75 kids, and they got themselves into the weight room and got stronger and faster, did the conditioning part of it as well, and they came into camp in shape. And then just seeing them, do their 7-on-7s through their summer, didn't really see them, but them doing their 7-on-7s, understanding what we're trying to do and trying to accomplish. Some veteran guys as well that already know the systems on both sides of the ball, and teaching the young guys really helped out. But it was amazing too. We had quite a few young kids, freshmen, true freshmen, come up this summer as well to work out with our guys too, and that's going to benefit them in the long run. But our kids put the time and the effort in this summer, and it just made camp run a lot smoother. And camp was different with no two-a-days as well, more meeting times and more walkthroughs, and I think that helped as well.
I was going to ask you about that. They changed the rules, no more two-a-days. Started a little bit earlier to get the same amount of practices in, but how does that change things? Because there probably is more classroom time, more just walking it through as opposed to just practicing out there.
Honestly, I love the two-a-days and the three-a-days because you can grind them and pound them and toughen them up. But really, I think these, going to these single practices with the walkthroughs, just being able to talk, offensively, going through blitz schemes of a defense, and what quarterbacks and receivers need to be on the same page, and the same thing with defense, run through their blitz packages and coverages and things like that to really coach it up instead of just such fast-paced tempo on the field. And it gave us more time with our young guys too, and I think that's really that really benefited them going in through fall camp, because we had meetings just with the young guys and not just old guys, and I thought it made them better and prepared them more, and kept them more involved with the program as well, because sometimes they get here, they're not on the field doing anything, they're not getting to see themselves practice on film because you just don't have enough time. But it allowed us to coach them and teach them and keep them more involved, which kept us, we started with 130 and we were only down to 122, so 8 kids walking away from it, which you're going to have that every year. But I think that's just that involvement kept them more engaged with what we're doing, and made them better players.
And I noticed with the young guys, the true freshmen, the newcomers of the program, a little bit different this year in practice. When you break off to do your conditioning at the end of practice for the veterans and the returners, those freshmen are still out there. They're doing reps and getting some extra time in practice.
Yeah, it was. We gave them some time with the inside run and then Skelly as well. But you want to get to a point where they could do some team stuff on their own, and they usually don't get a lot. They usually get about 5 or 6 plays. Maybe sometimes 10, but. I looked at the schedule, how can we make this work where they can get some more plays and stay within the time limits of practice and those things, and said, well, I'll just take the old guys down. I'll run them while you guys, take the young guys down. They'd get 20 to 25 reps of team, which really is going to benefit them in the long run.
And you talk about no two-a-days and just the culture of football has changed. You see it from the NFL level, it's trickled on down. I mean, your full pad's a lot less than you used to be. A lot of times just in shells and going over everything to get ready for the games. Not as much contact during the week as there used to be.
There's not. I mean, you got to stay healthy. And, back in the days, it didn't matter. You'd have 2-a-days, 3-a-days. You'd bang all the time. And, you'd have some injuries and lose guys here and there. But it just seems like, this day and age, guys are stronger, they're faster, they're bigger, and those collisions, take a wear on those guys. So you got to try to stay healthy, try to keep them, upbeat and excited, and the main thing is just their health, and that's important to us. And I think that taking away the 2-a-days kind of helped because you're banging twice in one day, and that doesn't give their brain time to recover. And I liked it. I thought it went well, and hopefully we keep doing it like this.
Well, the Tigers getting set to open up on Thursday night in Joplin against Missouri Southern. We'll get to the Lions a little bit later on in the program. Right now we're going to take a break. We'll talk more about the 2017 Tigers when we return right after this.
That was another legend on 99 KZ Country. And yes, before that we had a brand new artist. Your home for today's stars and the legends. We play real country. I'm Teresa Trapp. Weather, news, sports, it's all here. We're on Facebook, and there is a listen live link at hayespost.com. Dial us in on your radio at 99.5 FM. KHAZ, Real Country. 99 KZ Country.
Welcome back to Tiger Talk. Gerard Walbrock, head football coach Chris Brown, as Fort Hays State gets set for the 2017 season opener Thursday night in Joplin against Missouri Southern. Tigers coming off 8 wins and a Champs Heart of Texas Bowl victory a year ago, and that was great. Back-to-back postseasons, back-to-back 8-win seasons, but I know that's kind of left everybody hungry for more this year.
They are, and our kids are very anxious, and they want to get to the playoffs, and that's their main goal. They want to win a conference championship, and you can see that just by what they did this summer, and how they went through fall camp of preparing themselves and their meetings and really paying attention and focusing, all the way through it. It's been a great group of kids. Sometimes in practice you have some lulls here and there, but with this group it's been pretty high tempo, pretty high energy through every single practice, and even a bad practice really wasn't a bad practice, and it was still, our kids still got a lot of work done and got some things done as well. But they want to improve. We went 8-4 2 years in a row, and they want to build off of that. And hopefully they do. They deserve it. They've worked their tails off, and hopefully all that work pays off.
Well, it's always a challenge in the MIAA because obviously you have the defending champions in Northwest Missouri State. Emporia State's had a couple of straight playoff appearances. I mean, there's always a lot of good teams, and you've obviously covered a lot of ground. You've made some great strides, the back-to-back 8-win seasons. Sometimes making that last step is the hardest because now you're having to beat some really good teams on a consistent basis.
It is. I mean, this is the tough time now. I mean, we got to be able to beat the Northwest, Mo West, Central Missouri, Emporia, Pitt. We got to start beating those guys instead of just hanging around. I really think we've competed, with those teams in the past, but now we need to take the next step and, win those ball games. And that's the only way to get to the playoffs. You got to go through those guys to get to the playoffs, and our guys understand that. So we'll see what happens.
We'll take another quick break. We haven't talked about the 2017 Tigers yet. We'll do that right after this break. Get a little bit more preview look of what to expect on Thursday when we return right after this.
Ready to discover something new? The next time you're in your car, tune your radio to 94.3 FM.
It's here.
It's Hayes' greatest hits.
Love it.
On 1400 KAYS and 94.3 FM.
94.3 FM, KAYS. Go ahead, check us out.
Welcome back to Tiger Talk. Gerard Walbrock and head coach Chris Brown. Fort Hays State gearing up for Thursday night's opener in Joplin against Missouri Southern. Look at your team this year. Offensively, you return a lot. I mean, you lost some key players, but you return a lot of numbers on the offensive side. But yeah, defensively, you lost a lot of skilled people, and you have a lot of young guys going to be making their starting debut or maybe moving up to playing more minutes. An overview of this team, at least early on, you'd figure maybe the offense has the advantage just because they've got so many people back on that side of the ball.
We do. I mean, we still got Jake back at quarterback, and Naheem's returning. Tigner's played some receiver for us last year, and we moved him back to tailback. Got Beaverly and Bacon, and we still got Wendelberger and J.J. Lewis and those guys. And our O-line's solid. We added Nathan Hale to that mix, and we still got Romello Burke, but we got some older guys that know exactly what we're supposed to do. Offensively, and Travis Talley's a big part of the line of getting those guys prepared and ready to go, and making sure they're all on the same page and communicating with what he sees up front as well. So, we do have some some returning guys, but you still just don't know what's going to happen. Who knows what Southern's going to bring at us? But defensively, I think the young guys stepping in. Shadiq got tons of reps last year. Doyne Jabowu got tons of reps. I mean, he played quite a bit, and Hookman played a lot, and then. Hayden Kreitzer going to get on the field this year and play some for us. But, we moved Cayman Clayton to corner, and Knowles got some playing time as well last year. So there's some guys that maybe didn't play a lot, but they still have some experience, and they know our defense very well. But, really going through spring, they competed with the offense. They did a good job of shutting our offense down at times. And, I think defensively we're going to be okay, especially with those front four that we have with Nathan Shepard and, Wyatt Parker and, Luke Wright, who have a lot of experience for us. And, we still got Delgado, and, Tevin Evans is going to have a great year this year. And Colt Traxel's really, stepped up his game for us at linebacker. So I still feel like, we're still going to be very, very solid defensively just because those guys have put all the time and the effort in to get better, and they've learned a lot. Through the summer and last year with Schmidberger and those guys in front of them. So I'm excited to see what they can do. Yeah,
linebacker has been a position. You've been so solid. You've had veterans. You've had all-conference players seemingly forever there. Now you look, and here's Jose Delgado. He was a young pup in the group, and now he's the veteran leader as a junior. A lot of new faces, but that seems to be a position that has always performed well for Fort Hays State.
Yeah, Coach Harris does a great job of coaching those guys up. He played the position as well at Pitt, played in the CFL, and he coaches those guys up and gets them ready to play, and they're prepared. I mean, and they're a good group of kids, and they have to know everything, and they've done a good job of really picking things up. But I'm really excited to see those guys get on the field, especially Jose, and see what he can do this year. And Cole, I know he's going to be very well, but then seeing Tevin Evans, who has been battling injury after injury, year in and year out, who's a very talented kid, got great speeds, very strong, and I really want to see what he can do.
And almost seems like on both sides of the ball, and it does every year, but it starts up front. If your offensive line and then on the defensive side, those front four could do their job and play the way I think you feel they can, that's going to ease a little bit of the load for some of those young guys as they get their feet wet and kind of acclimate to their new roles in the back end of the defense.
It does, and I feel like we're very solid on both sides of the ball, in those areas, and that's where it always starts. If you don't have a good O-line or a good D-line, and things are going to be tough for the back end. So hopefully those guys keep doing the things that they've been doing through camp and keep playing solid and stay healthy and move guys off the ball. Great things will happen for us.
You mentioned the offensive line. Travis Talley, a veteran back. He's the most seasoned, I guess, of all the players back. And you've added a new transfer in Nathan Hale, who's fit right in. You got a couple of young guys who got some playing time. I guess kind of unfortunate last year, a couple of freshmen who get their first start and then get hurt and didn't get to play much. And Brandon Gonzalez and Pat Kelly. How have they responded off their injuries, and how are they fitting into the mix?
They've done a great job. Pat's right back to where he was. I mean, I think that kid, by the time he's done here, he's going to be one of the best linemen we've ever seen. And Donald Blackman's done a great job of moving around. We know we play him a little bit of guard, play him a little bit at center, just to make sure for our rotations. And Romello's the same way, playing guard and playing center too. And and then you've got Talley and then Gonzo too. Gonzo been banged up a little bit here through camp, but he's finally starting to get healthy. But I feel like we finally got some depth at that O-line position to really help us solidify those positions. And if something does happen, we got a guy that can fill in. And Braden Delzite's another one of those kids that can fit in and play for us. So excited about this group. I think they work well together. They communicate very, very well, and they understand how to play with one another, and that's a big part of it.
Yeah, I noticed that. One thing, I mean, you made a concerted effort in the offseason to get some offensive linemen and a lot more depth going down from the freshmen that are going to redshirt and not play to even those who are competing for jobs. A little more competition, a little more depth than you've had in a while.
It was, and that's something that we really need to build on. We signed Jeffrey Lodge in the spring and Hale, and then we added Chris Lingo here, right here at the end of the spring, so he just got here this fall camp, and I didn't. Being on the offensive side now, I didn't realize how much went into playing offensive line and how difficult it really is, and all the calls and checks and movements that they have to see to play O-line. So Lingo in the long run will finally pick it up. Lodge in the spring, we didn't think was very good, but right now he's really, really good. He understands exactly what he's doing, and he's playing well and playing smart. So, if we need to use him, he's going to get in and play. But, the depth was important, and, we've got a lot of young guys now that are down working a scout team with the one defense, and if they go down there and work, they're going to end up being pretty good because you're going against Nathan Shepard, Luke Wright, Wyatt Parker, Sterling Swopes day in and day out, and going against those guys on a daily basis can only make you better.
Tigers gearing up Thursday night in Joplin. We'll take another break. Be back with more right here on Tiger Talk.
As you plan for your business in 2018, advertising should be an important part of your growth strategy. Digital marketing puts your business in front of the right customers online. Advertising with the Hays Post ensures your message will be viewed 1.5 million times a month, including 375,000 unique views a week. Are you ready to grow your business? Advertise with us today. It's affordable and it works. Call us today at 785-628-0467. Eagle Communications, our community connected.
Welcome back to Tiger Talk. Gerard Wellbrock and football coach Chris Brown. Fort Hays State gearing up for their season opener on Thursday. Tiger Talk presented again by Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers, where you can experience delicious cook-to-order food, rich and creamy frozen custard churned fresh throughout the day. All at Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers, North Vine and Hays. It's the taste that brings you back. We're glad to have them back as our title sponsor again this year. Fort Hays State gearing up for the opener, and talked a lot about the offense and defense. Jacob Mazzara started last year as a redshirt sophomore quarterback, had an outstanding season, got hurt, was able to come back and lead you to that bowl victory down in Texas. He's healthy. What does he have to do now to take that next step? He had a great season, but I know quarterback's such a demanding position, and he's really demanding on himself. What's he have to do to take that next step to try to lead this team to the next level?
I think he did a really, really good job, last year, leading our offense and making some things happen. But I think he can make it better by just, seeing things just a little bit better, understanding when there's a blitz coming, and where his check down should be, and hot routes and things like that, and being able to communicate to the receivers, and O-line, exactly what he's seeing on the back end, and I think if he can do those things and make the right reads and right checks, and get the ball out of his hand a little bit faster when those things are coming, I think he'd be very, very, very good for us. And and if we get put in a bad situation, we got a bad call, him finding a way to get us out of it. That's the important thing. And I think if he can start doing those things and put more on his plate, that'll really help this team out. But, he's growing, he's maturing. I think he's going to do a great job for us this year, but he just needs to build on those things right there.
One of the few returning starting quarterbacks at the MIAA. There's going to be a lot of new faces at signal caller, and he's got to be excited with that receiving core. You mentioned Tyler Bacon, Lane Bieberly, both had great years. Montario Birchfield, who had been on the squad practicing, and you could go up and down the line. Andrew J, who got some key minutes, really having a good camp. There's a lot of weapons in the receiving core, maybe one of the deeper receiving cores you've had.
It is. I think that group as a whole is very, very solid. They all have their different attributes about them, and they all do things differently, and they have some things they do really well and things they don't do so well. So we got to figure out what those guys do well, and I think we've done that through camp of figuring out, who our guys are, what routes they run the best. If it's man-to-man coverage, who we need to go to, and those type of things, and just getting everybody on the same page. And that group's got some depth, and they're very talented. They all catch the ball very well, and they're competitive, and then they block very well, which is huge. So I'm excited to see this group get after it. And
running back Shaq Cooper gone, obviously conference running back of the year, all first team all conference. He was a missed tackle away from going to the end zone every time. Kenneth Iheme backed him up now in a starting role, and you mentioned Tigner being moved back from wide receiver to running back, and it's tough to replace a guy like Shaq Cooper, but you've got a couple of guys there I think can take that burden on pretty well.
I do, and the thing I like about these two, they're more downhill runners. Shaq was kind of an east and west, get vertical, see a hole, make a guy miss. But I really like how these two run the ball. They're one cut and they get vertical and they go, and they're trying to get yards. And you do that enough times, the defense will get tired of hitting you and tackling you, and pretty soon you're going to spurt one and go 50, 60 yards for a touchdown. I think they have the speed to do that. But yeah, I'm excited about this crew and what they're doing, and I think Elliot Carlson's been a great addition for us, and Isaiah Blackman has really stepped into a role to help us out as well. So I think that crew's pretty solid. I think they all again have their own different little things that they do well, but I think it's solid. I think they're going to do good things for us.
Yeah, a couple young freshmen we won't see for a little while, but
Right.
Got a chance to be pretty good down the road. I'm sure we'll be talking about them in years to come. We're going to take our final break. We're going to come back and preview Thursday night's season opener in Joplin against Missouri Southern. We'll do that right after this here on Tiger Talk. And welcome back to Tiger Talk, our final segment here this evening. Glad to have you aboard as we get set for the season opener for Fort Hays State. Program brought to you by Freddy's Frozen and Custard and Steak Burgers, North Vine and Hayes, the taste that brings you back. And of course, Mocha's Coffee Bakery and Bistro. They're at 27th and Indian Trail. Stop on by on your way to work in the morning. Use the drive-thru, get yourself breakfast, of course, your favorite cup of coffee. But you can stop in for lunch and dinner as well. They've got something for every meal at Mocha's Coffee Bakery and Bistro, 27th and Indian Trail in Hayes. Tigers in Joplin to open up the season against Missouri Southern. Denver Johnson now in his third year. He was kind of like you. He got hired late that first year, and so it was a struggle. Last year you could see improvement. In fact, they gave you a pretty good challenge at Lewis Field, and boy, really hard to figure. They've got 4 new assistant coaches, a new offensive coordinator. Looks like they have a new starting quarterback, a transfer that came in from Southeast Missouri State. Then the defensive side, 3 guys who even played for them on defense.
Yeah.
So, boy, you're kind of going into this first game blind.
It's a lot of unknowns. We don't know exactly who's going to play, what type of talent there are, that they have, and when you watch games of everybody else, you can see the kid on film. You know exactly who you want to attack and who you want to get after, and this one, it's difficult to do that. So we just got to take care of ourselves and figure out what we want to do offensively and defensively, and make sure that we're doing stuff that's not going to hurt us or take too many chances. And I think if we just play a solid football game, do the things that we need to do, hopefully we can come out on top. But very unsure of what they're going to do offensively, and defensively, I just don't know what they're going to have on the front line or in the back end. So we'll find out when we get there on Thursday.
And I guess, football is such a game of adjustments, and who can make them the quickest on the fly and in the halftime locker room a lot of times has a success when it's 2 evenly matched teams. And I would guess it's a little bit like this, but you're probably doing a lot of that throughout the entire game, maybe earlier than you normally would just because of the unknowns you talked about.
Yeah, it is, and that's something we're talking about as a coaching staff. We're putting a game plan together right now, but one of the things, these things don't work. What are we going to do and what are we going to change? And it might be after the first 2 series, offensively or defensively, we got to change some things and make some things work. So, our guys up in the box got to do a good job of seeing things, seeing how their game plan and what they're trying to do to us, so we can get our kids on the field coached up and ready to go. So it'll be interesting, but I got all the faith in the world in my coaches. They do a good job of getting our kids prepared and seeing things on game day. So, hopefully we get them coached up early.
It'll be a good crowd in Joplin. It's always an interesting atmosphere, but they've had some football success trying to build it back with Denver Johnson. I'm sure they'll be excited. Should be a great atmosphere, something special about under the lights on a Thursday night to kick it all off. It should be fun.
It is. It's going to be a beautiful night, probably around 70, 75 degrees. Weather's going to be good. I'm excited. I'm just ready to get there and see what this group of kids, have, and see how they play well together, and see what they play as a team and as a family. And but they're a good group. They've worked their tails off, and I hope all this work pays off for them.
Sounds good, Coach. We can't wait for Thursday. Glad to have you on the show again this year. We'll see you down in Joplin.
Thanks, George.
That's head coach Chris Brown of the Fort Hays State Tigers. Again, it'll be a Thursday night game in Joplin. 7 o'clock kick. You can hear it on Tiger Radio Mix 103. Our coverage begins at 6 with the Auto World pregame show. And hey, if you missed any portion of Tiger Talk, you can always find it online at HaysPost.com. And of course, the video replay on Eagle Cable's channel 14 and 614. That'll be on Tuesdays and Wednesdays at 10 and 7, so be sure and check out the video portion of Tiger Talk. The program brought to you again by the Hayes Med Orthopedic Institute, the Taco Shop, G&L Tire and Automotive, Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Ellis, Adams Brown, Barron and Ball, BTI and Horizon Appliance and Electronics, and of course, Mocha's Coffee Bakery and Bistro, 27th and Indian Trail in Hayes, and by Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers, North Vine in Hayes, the taste that brings you back. For Coach Chris Brown, this is Gerard Walbrock. So long, everyone.